8, 9, 10. Okay, baby's coming. Come on, Rachel, you can do this. Keep pushing. Breathe in and push. Harder. 1 and 2, 3, 4.
Yep, that's me. I bet you're wondering how I got into this mess. Let me explain.
Am I the asshole for being abused by my parents?
Wanted to share that I'm really proud that despite the internalized homophobia, I've really been making an effort to
Shut up, rebel, you talk, I don't hear a thing. All you got is lust, no will to just obey. What did you say? You think I love your praying? He hates all you do cause you love fornicating. Fornicating.
How many of you have spent time with a drunk narcissist?
You're not getting it. But we don't have to argue. Let's settle this. Let's settle this calmly.
Please do not film me. Get him to erase that.
Greg, I'm not in the middle of this argument. I didn't
You
start
are in the middle of it.
You were in the middle of it.
He's your son.
This really helps, doesn't it? The more people who are involved, the better.
So wait, when I asked him to help me, he just won't.
Then that's the, deal with it.
After I recommended.
I am older now, but this is a story from my high school year 17M. I lived with both of my parents and my younger sister, 11F, but my mom was out of town on this particular day. There was a block party happening in my neighborhood. My mom was away with many other mothers from our block, while lots of the children and dads were partying. I returned home from a friend's house later in the evening when no one was home. I walked inside to find my place trashed. It was littered with alcohol and bottles, cups, shot glasses. I figured that the dads must be doing some sort of house hop and had passed through our house earlier.
It's obnoxious.
You want to keep living here?
No, I mean, not if you're gonna be here. I mean, it's fine.
And they insult people and they stumble around and they say terrible things to you in front of people. And what do? They blame you.
By this point, I was jaded by my father's alcoholism, paired with his narcissism. It was a horrible combo. The mess in our house immediately made me resentful, but not surprised. I started cleaning up the mess when I heard our garage door begin to open. Seconds later, my dad came hobbling in from outside, the drunkest I had ever seen him, or any other human for that matter. His speech was slurred, and his path was directionless. In the following few minutes, his inebriated mind spewed a mess of frustrations, apologies, and furies. He confessed to me that my cum could not find about him being drunk tonight, because in their most recent conversation, she threatened to divorce him if he got shit-faced again. He tried gripping me by the shoulders, arms, and neck. He eventually stumbled over to the knife holder, from which he drew the largest knife and returned to perform some sort of guilt-ridden plea to have me forgive him and promise not to tell anyone. I never felt so out of control of a situation before, especially at the hand of my father, who easily outweighed me and could hardly be reasoned with.
You have to calm down. I'm going to approach it in a different way. I'm not involved in it. I'm not going to be involved in it. It doesn't help. There's already 1, 2.
No, Eileen.
I'm not involved in it. Don't put what
I hate to say this, but you abet the problem. You abet it by doing nothing and running away from it.
Are you kidding me? I wasn't here
You
when it
abet the
happened.
problem.
And I'm not.
He thinks you approve of it. People have a right to privacy. If he's violated it, I'll sue him. So you get something out of it.
What? That's a ridiculous thing to say.
Violation of my right to
And
privacy.
what are you going to get from that?
I don't know.
More family harmony?
My dad just asked me to help him with a PowerPoint presentation. I was happy to go. He needed help rotating an image.
I'll never forget each one. His stubble, gentle brushing up against mine.
had to step up for myself in that moment, so I calmly grabbed the hilt of the knife and appeased his mind while letting the knife fall to the table. I swiveled him around and pointed him upstairs towards his bedroom. My main priority was to remove him from my vicinity. I succeeded in landing him in his bed, telling him to go to sleep. I locked his door from the inside. Not that that would lock him in, but perhaps would confuse him enough to deter him from leaving later on. I rushed downstairs and called around to multiple neighbors asking if they had seen my sister. After finding the house she was currently playing outside of, I asked the family to let her stay the night without alarming them, and they agreed.
Alcohol becomes an interesting magnifying glass for the worst qualities of the narcissistic person. Worse grandiosity, more cruelty, greater entitlement, more arrogance.
But, and so I show him how to rotate it. Right click, change size, scale, and told him to just type in 90 degrees in rotation to rotate it. Pointed to him exactly where it was.
So, growing up in a narcissistic family system means that you are expected, it's not explicitly said, but you're expected to live in service to the narcissistic parent, fulfilling their needs and denying your own. It's definitely not a healthy precedent.
I don't know, I guess he ignored me or something and just went ahead and did like changed some other parameter to fiddle with. And I walked away to do to get back to what I was doing before. And then he yells at me and calls me obnoxious for going away.
Ood.
Spread that oil faster, bring the fire faster. Should've listened to our words, instead you brought disaster. Bring a deep desire, sorry will not answer. Forever burn, forever burn.
I next called my mother and told her plainly what was happening. She was worried for me but couldn't make it back until the next day. I told her not to fret. The worst was over and my sister was safe. I returned to the scene of the party, even more enraged at the sight of what contributed to my father's violent and abusive behavior. I made it my mission to eradicate my home of all things alcohol related. I dumped all alcohol, opened or unopened equally. I gathered all my family's shot glasses, beer steins, and wine glasses in multiple paper grocery bags and walked them out to our driveway. In the late stages of dusk, I raised each bag above my head and threw them towards the asphalt, shattering everything inside. I shouted during the first toss, and I was crying by the last. After cleaning the house, I gathered some food and water and walked up to my room. I locked my door and planned to stay secured within until at least the next day. Not even 10 minutes later, a heavy rattling at my door startled me. My dad was attempting to enter, shouting "Let me in" as he fought the locked and barricaded door. I yelled at him to go back to sleep. Eventually he stopped and returned to his room. I am frightened to this day about what that interaction would have been like had he successfully entered my room.
Denial, lots of blame deflection, minimizing, and telling you that you are exaggerating the situation.
He completely denied calling me obnoxious. He said he didn't call me obnoxious. He said, you know, that I was impossible, that I was, I don't know, just many negative things about me. Recollection of our interaction before he started losing his temper was just not accurate, and so...
The next day, my mom returned and trying entering my room. I didn't let her. We had our own issues, and her enabling of my father was one of them. I told everyone to go away. By dinner time, both my parents were at my door demanding I open it. I conceded, followed by my father making a forced and empty apology about an event he couldn't recall. My mother made him promise to start attending AA meetings immediately. I was pretty pessimistic about that working out, but I wished him luck. A few weeks later, I received a text from someone who I referred to as my cousin as a child, but really a family friend. We hadn't talked in years, and I'm not sure how he got my number, but he seemed very serious. He first asked if my dad was recently telling us that he was attending anything on Monday nights. I said yes, the AA meetings. He told me that it couldn't be, because he and his brother discovered that their mother and my dad were having an affair. They even sent me an audio recording of their dirty talk to prove it. I don't think I had the emotional capacity to understand the gravity of the situation at the time, but I remember laughing. It was like the cherry on top to a deadbeat dad, turning his last chance to win back his family into his going out with a bang. The abuse didn't start or end here, but this was the most storytellable part. My parents are now divorced. My dad married the person I used to call aunt, and I cut him out of my life over 7 years ago. But anyway, I think I might be the asshole in this situation, because everyone knows the kids are at fault for the parents' actions.
You have to try and give it some help. Don't you feel a responsibility that
Your
way?
idea of helping, Greg, was by taking your side.
The rub is that if the narcissistic person does indeed stop drinking, you may not see the major ramp-ups that would happen during the drunken periods, but you will see that those patterns of invalidation, manipulation, lack of empathy, entitlement, arrogance, all of it is still there. It often feels as though narcissistic parents stunt their own children so they can't become their own people and actually fulfill not only their own needs, but their own destinies. And you keep wondering, when is it my time?
Go devil spawn, you just keep pushing on to the hell where you will forever burn. Forever burn. Forever burn. Go devil spawn, you just keep pushing on to the hell where you will forever burn.
Mr. Noodle! Mr. Noodle! The balloon's not on the water! We need water! See, Mr. Noodle's not going anyplace! We need some water! You need water to go places in a canoe! Yes, see? Yeah, very hard! We need water!
We're sorry, the god you're trying to reach will hear your crap at this time. Please shut your trap and never try again.
You're forever caught in a purgatory of trying to become your own person, and the manipulative pullback, sadly, for many folks, it never really is your turn.